Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Vine Panther Presents. Today, Kimberly and I shall be discussing The Shy, Season 4, Episode 6. Oh, man, this episode was that bullshit. I wanted to be positive. So, they spent 5 episodes building up the JR ghost moment of who shot the mayor.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, we know.
Laverne, Brandon's mama, comes out of nowhere for no reason and tries to kill the mayor of Chicago. Let's review how this makes no fucking sense. Like, shall we? Like, Brandon was magically killed at the beginning of season 3, episode 1. And
Right.
if you watch the preview of that episode, and then the whole episode, you will see every plot hole in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Brandon gets killed. He was killed by Chicago. That's what the eulogy was that Laverne gave.
Right.
No suspects, right? Not even know how he died. Not even how he died. Did he get run over? Did he get stabbed? Did he get shot? None of it.
Right. No information at all.
No one even investigates this dude.
Right.
The next time you hear about him, Dominique refers to him as some nigga with a food truck or something like that. She was very dismissive. She was like,
she was.
Right?
Yeah.
Last time he's even mentioned until season 4, episode 1, there's a newscast about the new mayor of Chicago. Some random ass person in Smokies goes, I heard he killed a nigga with the food truck. That sentence was the foundation for this entire first 5 episodes. That Laverne, who left Chicago, mind you, when she got in that limo, right? She was like, get me the fuck out of here.
She said she wasn't coming back. Yeah.
She was done with Chicago.
Right.
Because the streets killed Coogie and killed Brandon.
Right.
No. Black men killed both of those men.
Yes.
Let's acknowledge who the real threat to Black people are, all right? And that's us.
Right.
All right? Like, let's be real about this shit. Okay, the one thing that we acknowledge in this show is that as much as Otis was scared of the white cops coming down to his neighborhood and killing each other, we do better all by ourselves, right? We don't need help. We don't need help. Anyway, it makes no fucking sense, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just say that. Like, how'd you feel? How'd you feel, Kimberly, when you revealed who the murderer was? How did that work out for you?
I was shocked. I was expecting it to like be drawn out, and I was thinking, and it was Rose. It could have been Tracy. It could have been. I mean, there's so many people hate him, right? But then all of a sudden, like Laverne is just standing there, you know, with like a smirk on her face, and I'm like, where did she come from? She had been gone for almost a year. Like, why? I was disappointed. I wanted it to last at least another episode that we're guessing who it is, right? Because I thought at first maybe it was Rose. Oh, it could have been Amani. Amani could have been just pissed off about the girl who died at the trap house.
Or the whole trap house just in general. It could have been
Nuck. It could have been Nuck.
It could have been anybody. Anybody in this season. And it would have made more sense.
It could have been Kevin.
It could have been Kevin. Kevin could have been mad that his boy and that girl was getting it on. He snaps. He grabs the gat. He's like, you know what? I'm taking down Otis because Otis is looking out for Jake. Fuck Jake and fuck the mayor. And and that would have made sense. I would have been like, you know what, Kevin? I knew he always had it in him. He always had it in him. Like, he just, all that stress, right?
Right.
So, oh man, this made me so mad. I thought, okay, why didn't they stretch it out like they stretched out the Power? That's because in Power, they actually had a police officer investigating James St. Patrick's murder. And that wasn't happening in The Shy.
Oh, sorry. Doesn't make sense. And the reason why it doesn't make sense is because Brandon, the last scene that you saw Brandon in, he was in the car with police officers, right? Remember that? He was working with them. They showed Duda in the same scene. So you mean to tell me that when this young man dies, none of those police officers were like, oh my gosh, it's Duda. He had to see Brandon. He must have figured it out, right? Nothing.
None
You
of
get
that.
nothing. No, there's no cops on the show anymore at all. All the cops are gone.
Gone. All the cops that we could have looked up to, all the cops who were trying to take down Duda, all gone.
All gone.
So if you go again, you go back and you look at season 3, episode 1. Duda comes to Brandon's funeral because he's trying to use the event to kick off his race for mayor.
Yeah.
That's the only time he talks to Laverne. She says to him, "I have no idea who you are, and my son never mentioned you. Goodbye."
Yeah.
That is it. You know who else shows up to that? Ronnie.
Yeah, Ronnie was there. Yep.
You know, the one who also actually killed her son?
Yeah.
She didn't even slap him. She didn't get mad at him. It was her husband who pushed Ronnie off and said, "Get up out of here."
Right.
So I'm like, if this woman was on some type, I gotta kill every man who killed my children, she should have been the one to kill Ronnie.
First and foremost, Ronnie should have been killed, right? Because he did kill her baby. And then 2, Duda would be second.
But once they show us that Duda was the one that killed him,
right?
Let's establish that. Like, they established that Duda was responsible, facilitated Reg's death, right? Like, that was established. And then the guy who did it got killed at the beginning of season 3, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they took care of that. But they bring in this bullshit, and then all of a sudden they got to justify it with Duda, who again just got shot, right?
Yeah.
Damn near bleed to death, is now having a full conversation in the hospital, eating food like he good, like he back in the game.
Exactly.
Worrying about his beard not being colored when Tracy comes.
Yeah, exactly. His vanity is more important
than his life, right? He was on life support about 5 minutes ago, but now he's like, "Hey, I gotta get this shit right because my girl may be coming in here." Stop it. How did Laverne even know about the party? How did she know that Duda was responsible for her son's death? How did she know about the party? How did she know where he was? If they would have showed us she's stalking him.
Right.
This whole time, right? Sometime it would have been bullshit, but I would have took it. I would have been like, okay, you're making an effort to ground this in some type of reality.
Or at least talk to a neighbor, like talk to Nina. Talk to Emmett's mom. I can't think of her name right now.
Oh,
Jada, right? Talk, because she knew them, right?
Yeah.
So she could have had a conversation with them, and oh girl, it's gonna be okay. Don't worry. Brandon was, just girl talk, right?
We talked about the fact that Tracy was supposed to be on that. Somebody else was on that roof when she showed
Tracy, up. Somebody else.
It should have been Tracy, and then you find out that she talked to Tracy, who also lost her son. Because remember, they tried to bond in season 3, right? Like, you lost your kids, I lost mine. She was like, "Look, this man is responsible." I found out all of a sudden that this man's responsible for Brandon being killed.
Right.
I'm taking this dude out.
Right.
And maybe they had that conversation on the roof. Just something. They make no acknowledgement that anybody else was on that roof, and there was.
Yeah. Because the way he looked. Mm-hmm.
Right.
He looked this way, and then he looked this way. Yeah.
Oh my God. I was so mad. And then she disappears like a ninja. Like, she's like,
she was out.
She was like John Wick. I was like,
why did she shoot him one time? Like, me? You kill one of my kids? I'm unloading. Blop, I'm just bop, 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 bop.
Blop. Yeah, right. That's personal. That's when you know it's personal, right? Like, the mayor got shot 15 times. Like, apparently whoever this reloaded and tried to get it. It's like, clearly this is personal, right?
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I was like, oh my God. And then you spent 4 episodes building this stupid shit up for this?
That's why I'm disappointed, because I really felt like, even with Power dragged it out a little longer than they should have, but they dragged it out. They should have done it with Duda, because there were so many suspects. This guy is not a liked guy, right? We know he is the head of a gang, right? Yeah. So it could have been any one of those thugs.
Anybody. It's just, fuck me. It should have been Amani. I would have even took Tracy better.
Oh, I would have taken Amani.
Yeah.
Or even Tracy. Like, could have been even Tracy, because, she could have been setting them up.
Right. Because why would she be fucking a drug dealer? Like, why was she also fucking a gang? Like, so then let's talk about, I want to say the Ghost and Angie moment.
Okay.
So Duda is recovering in the hospital.
Yeah.
His wife is there. Rosalind comes in. She's pushing for power. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, she's going to be mayor. There's something called the vice mayor. I looked it up. I thought it was lieutenant mayor. But when you have a mayor, you have a vice mayor, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so like him running for mayor, he has a vice mayor to take over for him. So this whole bullshit that Rosalind was going to step in, that's not a thing. Also, a lot of shows do that. Like they have a president of America, but they never mentioned the vice president. They act like there's not even one there. So Tyler Perry did it in The Oval and in the Have and the Have Nots. And I bring him up also actually because this is some Tyler Perry bullshit. Like the bad writing of this episode, I felt like Mr. Perry could have did this and I would have understood and I would have been like, yeah, I get it. You went with the cheap, not with the good. Anyway, I'm sorry. Let's get back to Tracy. So
Okay.
Tracy finding out that the money's not there. I'm assuming it's Rosalind that did that.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
It must, right? Notice how she confronts Otis to be like, did you just promise this money to fuck me? And he's like, no. Like he was like, what? And then she walks away to imply to me that the only reason she was fucking you was for the money. Right? Like that's how like that, right? I'm like, right. So you were fucking for the money. You just mad that you didn't get the money.
Right.
That's hoeing 101. You get the money first, then you give up the draws.
Right.
All right. So that's lessons. Anyway, dude is gonna be fine. Chris is not here. He's on vacation. You know what I'm saying? And he thought some bullshit that dude is living his best life. He just got shot. And he's doing all right.
Yeah.
Like, no, you should be intensive care for a very long time. Like, you shouldn't even be talking right now.
Especially a stomach wound.
And he bled out. It almost looked like he died on the way to the hospital. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he should not be functioning as well as he is. That also shows that ghosts could be alive.
Yeah.
Ghosts coming back. True. I mean, dude didn't fall from a second story thing, but there's still room for ghosts. Anyway, all right, so we'll see what's going on with that. I want to talk about Jada, her continuing cancer treatment.
It's so sad.
It is
so sad. I mean, when her hair was falling, I was like, it's just devastating. Like what it does to your body, the treatment that's supposed to help you, which it does help the majority of people, but it's just a sad thing. She has that knot there
from the chemo going in her breast.
Yeah, it's so sad. It's just.
I've said it a few times. I was like, I'm mad about Emmett. I'm mad about how they're portraying Emmett. One, it's like they're contractually obligated that every single episode, somebody's gonna say, Emmett's coming up. Emmett's getting shit together. Fuck Emmett. All right. So Emmett and Tracy are finally at Jada's house.
Right.
Visiting. They're not staying. EJ is finally there. EJ, instead of Tiffany and Emmett and EJ talking about what's going on with Jada, what's going to happen if cancer treatment don't work out, asking her how she's doing with the chemo. Instead, Tiffany and Jada are arguing next to her like she's sleeping, like she just had a hard day at work and she's just napping.
Right.
And they got more important things to talk about.
Because they're being selfish.
They're selfish as fuck, man. Yeah. I'm like, these kids, the writers are making these kids just fucking selfish. And then EJ, I'm like, at least he got some lines for once. But like, grandma is dying of cancer.
Yeah.
We need to acknowledge this. Like, EJ needs to be like, grandma, are you okay? Like, show that this little kid understand that his daddy and mom are explaining to him what the situation is.
They didn't.
Then where's his brother and sister? I'm not gonna let y'all forget this shit. Emmett has 3 fucking kids.
He does. We haven't seen him
since he proposed in front of his other 2 baby mamas and his kids.
Yeah, and his kids.
To his 3rd, lighter, skinnier one.
And Dominique.
And he just got done fucking.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, this
like the day before.
I'm putting the ring on this one though. Putting the ring on this one. Go ahead, Nick Cannon. At least Nick Cannon can pay for them kids. At least he got some money, right?
Exactly.
Emmett he ain't paying no child support. There've been no mention of child support. So he hadn't even see his kids. They don't know grandma's about to go.
Right.
So then that kind of goes into Dre.
Mm-hmm.
Dre is purposely ruining her marriage for no reason. Because Emmett knows, and the whole family know what's going on. So why? And then
you dragged that out too long. I think Nina, once Emmett knew, then Dre should have just told Nina. Period.
Right there.
That's she has loyalty to Nina. Now I understand, that she told, that she was going to keep the secret. The secret's out. When you told Emmett the secret's out, Nina needs to know.
Yes. Tiffany and Emmett and Jada need to be talking about real shit. Like, what's going to happen with the stuff if I don't make it? What's my will look like? This is where Jada helps Emmett become an actual adult, right?
Yes.
Understand with Dre, right? So I'm like, okay, Dre, while you giving counseling advice, couple counseling,
you
are lying to your wife to the point that she's following you around.
Yes.
To Jada's house.
Right.
She sees her wife, her lesbian wife, mind you, and her straight best friend having a conversation and hugging, and her immediate response is, they're fucking.
Right. Well, yeah, remember the whole text message. Thanks for keeping our secret. I think that's what you said.
My secret. No,
my secret. Okay, so then, that could get your mind going. But why didn't she just confront her and say, what is that about? Like, what are you and Jada talking about in this text? Like, of course, Dre would have said, well, why are you looking at my phone?
As she should.
That's right, as she should, right? But that's not the point. You need to tell me what's going on.
Or when you see them on the stoop, how about you go confront
Walk up to them.
No, you ride off to a bar and get your ass licked by the brat.
The brat. Yeah.
Hey, at least the brat coming out. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate brat. I mean,
she should have came out years ago, but whatever. It's her personal preference.
Right. Whatever. Lena Waithe give her an opportunity to be her.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And we appreciate that. Acting wasn't that good, but she didn't get that lot of lines.
She's not an actress.
She's not. She's not. But she had a realistic lesbian sex scene.
She did. As far as I know, because I'm not really up on that.
As opposed to Love Tale and that bullshit.
Right. Or the L word.
The L word does licking. I got to give the L word. L word, they do a lot of licking. Now, in The Shy, that's how you know lesbians behind this show. When Jada and Nina had their honeymoon and like Dre brought the strap on. Now I'm understanding how you can ride a woman. Like, I'm like, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? All right, anyway, I'm getting all off track. Okay.
Yes.
The lesbian thing just pisses me off. And I'm going to say it again because it happened again. Every time you have a lesbian one night stand, they act like there's no consequences but hurt feelings. All right? There needs to be some STDs. And I've said this before, and I mean it. Damn it. Like, one of it needs to happen. Anyway, but let's get back.
It could be happening. Maybe they just don't say it.
They need to say, no, gay men is always AIDS. You know that.
Right.
Like that. It's going to be HIV something, and the woman's going to get pregnant every time, right? Because there's consequences, right?
Right.
Anyway. So Nina finally tells, Dre finally tells Nina what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nina comforts Dre.
Right. Well, at that moment, she had to comfort her. They were only two. Now, after that moment, they should be going to Jada's house.
Look, your wife, your partner breaks down.
You have to comfort them.
But I'm like, everyone's comforting everyone else except for the person actually going through cancer. Everybody's worried about Emmett. Yes. Daryl was worried about Emmett. Tiffany was worried about Emmett. Daryl does not show up to go check on Jada.
Which is odd.
If you go back to season 3, episode 1, they show you the preview where Emmett walked in on Jada and Daryl fucking.
Yeah.
Because there was a time that they were trying to get back together. But even all that aside, this is not on your only, but your first baby mama, like your first, like you hear she has cancer, and no one goes to take care of her. Now, in defense, Jada, she's getting on my damn nerves because now she's like, Go away, Emmett, right? Go home. I don't want you here. I just need Nina and my boyfriend. But then she's
Yeah.
crying to Nina that she's tired of being strong.
Right. But that's a psychological thing she's going through. I mean, cancer is she's going through a lot. I mean, it's an emotional roller coaster. One minute you want to live, the next minute you want to die because the chemo is making you feel that way.
That's a different conversation, though. That's a different. If she was like, again, I'm trying to fight this. I know I'm gonna die. That's a different conversation. But to be like, why is it no one's here for me? Why is no one trying to take care? People are trying to be here for you. In fact, right. Nina is risking her marriage because you don't want her to tell Dre risking her marriage because you don't want Nina to know, because you don't want Nina to treat you like a victim, which means you don't want people to help you.
Right.
So I'm like, let's get consistent about what you're trying to do here. You know what I'm saying? Right. But like Tiffany, I say again, Emmett and Tiffany need to move into that Jada house to help her in her last days, because these are her last.
I think that's gonna. But okay, I don't know if Jada's gonna want that, because remember when they tried that before, those two young people they were stressing Jada out, and then now she's sick, and it's not like Tiff and Emmett are gonna mature all of a sudden and not fight in front of Jada.
But this is an opportunity. But this is an opportunity for character to development, to be like once they realize they're moving in to help Jada,
to help her, right?
To be like, we argue outside. We argue about the business. Right. We argue about weed or whatever. We do that bullshit outside. Mm-hmm. But now we're here to take care of the woman to take care of us.
I think that would be good if they could pull it off. That would be good, because anyone would do that. If it was my mom, I'd do it. If anybody would do that. That makes sense. And Emmett does genuinely love his mother. He really does. And I think Tiff really respects Jada, and I think she loves her. I think she does. It's her mother-in-law.
And so let's get to that. All right. So then you got Dominique and Tiffany talking about Emmett, right?
Yes.
At the restaurant, right?
Yes.
And Emmett's, going through.
He's the enemy now, all of a sudden. Like, he's the enemy.
Yeah. Well, no, my point is, Tiffany tells Dominique says what's going on with Emmett. Tiffany sums up what's going on with him is Emmett's going through some shit. His mom is dying of cancer. Like, that's not the same thing, right?
Right.
Dominique doesn't know, because her man that she's fucking, Emmett's dad, doesn't go, Jada got cancer.
Right.
Like, no one's told Dominique. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because Darnell should have told Dominique right off the top.
Right.
Like, yeah. So I'm gonna go over to see Jada because she, Emmett just told me she's dying of cancer. Yeah.
And we take some edibles over there to help her through the cancer treatment, to show that marijuana is good and medicinal purposes and all this other bullshit.
Right.
So let's talk about the weed business, right? So anyway, Emmett tries to, pull his dick out on Dominique and Tiffany when he's like, look here, this is my business.
Right.
You need to get back to work.
Right.
Fuck Emmett and fuck Dominique for letting this black man oppress her. Because you go back to season 3, Dominique had a thriving home business all by herself.
She did.
Emmett comes in, takes her business and her, and now she's working for him.
Right. And it's pissing her off. You can tell.
I disagree. I think she's more upset. If she did, she would be fighting the way she was fighting with the white woman for representation. White woman comes in to be like, hey, we'd like to offer you be part of our weed business. She's like, a colonizer. She didn't call it colonizer, but I felt the colonizer vibe.
Right.
Hence, when the black man walked in, Hannibal's friend
she was all for it.
Right? Because we keep it in the community, right? Because you want your representation. Emmett is oppressing you, Dominique. He does nothing but tell you what to do and then take credit for your work.
Right.
From day one.
Yeah.
But she's okay with that because he's a black man. So she's like, at least I'm being oppressed by my own people, I guess. Oh my God.
I guess.
I just, I don't know. Anyway, so get some self-esteem, girl. Let's talk about Papa. I want to talk about Papa and Maisha.
Why are they making why? Okay. This is what I understand. Not every couple has to be going through drama, right? So now the couple that is the cutest, the most loving couple, the ones that we're rooting for, right? Now they're having issues, right? Why? you could have just left him alone for just a little while longer, right? But now we have issues because all of a sudden, out of the blue, she's a fashion model. When did this happen? When did someone call her?
No, she's a rising hip hop artist.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right?
Oh, yes.
The fashion show is just to highlight this great voice that's coming out of Chicago.
Right.
He did one verse.
One.
On Papa's podcast that she shits on.
Yes. Yes.
Of all the time they spent on Jake and Gemma and Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
We see nothing about Maisha's up and coming music career on Instagram and on nothing. But now all of a sudden she's getting the kind of praise that she's getting fashion shoots.
Yes. And wasn't that just last week? She bust that verse, and now all of a sudden the next week
she balling out. She got entourage. They got like fashion clothes on her. Yes. All of a sudden she ain't home taking care of her 3 or 4 brothers and sisters.
Right, exactly.
What happened to that? Anyway, then Papa's like, "Hey, girl, we don't need to mix business with pleasure. You got a podcast,
right?
Ain't no business. Like business implies money,
right?
You ain't got nothing. Like, what are you talking about, Pop?" Now, that wasn't bullshit, but the cryptic line that started this whole thing, that when Maisha says, talking about Gemma, when they were trying to give group counseling to Gemma and that bullshit, which we'll do at the end.
Right.
So Maisha says, just because you start off someone doesn't mean you're going to end with someone, right?
Right.
And then Papa,
and that's true.
But Papa took like that was a threat to him, right?
Yeah, he did.
But that's not how they should have wrote it. Because if you go back to season 3, episode 1, you see what happened in previous seasons. Maisha started off with Kevin.
Yeah. Yes, she loves Kevin.
Look, to the point that she beat him into dating her.
Yeah.
Tricked him into coming to see her.
Yeah.
Then she went from Kevin to Papa.
Yes.
So what they should have did was been like, "Baby, I'm talking about you." Because that would also go back to Papa's story, like, "Nobody better ever take my girl. I fight for my girl." I'm like, Kevin had her before you did. Kevin should have said, "Bruh, she started off with me," just to be real. I just want to make sure we're on the same sheet of music right here, right? You wanted the skinny, dark skin, lovely right here. And then Kevin shitted on her because she was big. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then she went to Papa. So that the writer should have remembered that, right? Mm-hmm. So she just anyway. So then I was like, so why are they not? But like now she like, I'm blowing up. I got views. I got Instagram, or I guess. And I mean, like, where?
Well, I think what he did too, when he said when they were talking to the fashion people or whatever, the interviews, whatever, and then he was like, I have a podcast. It was like, okay, that wasn't the time for you to do that.
I see your point, but again, that's how they got the music on the air in the first place.
Yes, and it should have been her that said, well, she should have said it, not him.
Yeah, right. But I'm like, they should have known about the podcast to begin with, because that's where she started singing, right? So it should have been, we heard you on Papa's pulpit.
Yes.
That's awesome. Where's your music now? I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, some shit. Acknowledge that we remember that she started with only one verse anyway.
Yes.
But to be like, oh, I got this, it made it seem like he had this side thing.
Yeah.
That he's like, well, hey, by the way, I got this podcast. I'm like, girl, that's how you blew up, girl. It wasn't like you were on the street with a boombox or an iPad, singing. Like, that's not how this thing started. Unless where her music experience even come from. I mean, it's awesome, but like it came out of nowhere.
Yes.
Anyway.
But I mean, that's realistic though. I mean, sometimes you have a talent and you don't express it. Like you may express it in your room. Yeah. Maybe your best friend knows about it. Maybe you do it at church.
Or your boyfriend.
It's
always different. But they're still talking about going to college. I like the fact that she's still like, I'm going to go to college. I want to complete my degree, right? Like, that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
So you're right. Like, let's have one solid couple that we're rooting for.
Yes, please.
Like, why are you messing with they get little screen time as it is? Like, why are you?
Yes. and now they're taking a break.
Like
just that quick.
You weren't together long enough to have a break. Like, I don't even know what y'all do together besides eat. You know, like, they always got food. Let's focus on the positive. There was no food mentioned when Papa and Maisha were together. And this episode, that's a positive. Because every other time, food's associated with them eventually.
Yes.
That's messed up. All right.
Because they're the two big people on the show.
So. And that's not fair. And then they got the two big people together, and that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Right. Stereotypes. All right. Anyway, let's talk about the bitch in the room. Let's talk about Gemma. All right, so this is some bullshit. So Kevin, Gemma, and Jake, this threesome that has turned violent. That Kevin had to he had to go fisticuffs with his friend over Gemma.
Yes.
That he ended up punching a teacher
by accident. He didn't mean to.
Let's not do that. So like you could have fought him outside of school. You could have fought him back home. There's no reason why he had to, right? So Kevin is smart. He's a smart man, right? He ain't a fighter. We already established that because he almost got his ass whooped in episode 1. So don't, like, if he was Jake, that would make sense. At least the old Jake, right? They're like just violence, like let's just go for it. Like that makes sense. But Kevin, he's like, no, I'm gonna do it in class. I'm like, what the fuck you doing, Kevin? That's what Jake should have hit him with. I mean, literally, Jake should have been like, I'm sorry, what was all this, you know, these hands when you were about to get your ass whooped in episode 1? Like, what, I'm sorry, what was that? That had to come defend your little ass. Like, that's how you bring that back to Kevin's face, right? Right. Anyway, Kevin deserves to be expelled. Like, after doing drugs on a school trip, after punching a teacher, private school is not where he needs to be, apparently. Okay. Right. And Jake should be expelled too, because you know he was someone involved in the fight, right? And he was fucking Dakota on that school trip.
He was. Like, but he's not going to be expelled because he's Duda's. Well, he's Duda's sponsor. He's sponsored by Duda.
But I'm like, how is he not expelled? Then he and Gemma are the ones who left school and pulled the fire alarm.
Right. And nobody knows about that. Nobody said anything about it.
Nope, that's just in the past, right? That's just in the past, right? Anyway, Papa's trying to keep his friends together. They got this counselor and said, "Oh, that was too much." One, they shouldn't have been talking about Trinity. No one, and I mean no one, is talking about the Black woman that was forced into prostitution and murdered. In this neighborhood. Yeah,
that's true. No one said anything about it.
Nothing.
And that's something that Papa could put on his podcast. And he'd probably get more viewership if or people listening to it if he would say something about that and start to interview people like Imani.
Yes,
he interviewed Imani. He could have. Trig. He could have. Right? Yeah.
I mean, so Trig and they go save the women next episode. I saw in the preview. So there's something there. But the fact that Imani had to show Trig that Black women matter. Like, just because she's a sex worker doesn't mean she doesn't matter. He's like, oh yeah, I guess she's a person too. Yeah, maybe I should do something. But yeah, maybe I should. I'm like, what the fuck? Life only matters when a white man gets involved, right? Like, our lives only matter when a white man beats us up or shoots us. That's when we matter.
Yeah.
But we do it to ourselves. Fuck them. It's just the way life goes sometimes. Anyway,
that's how Trick. Because remember, he was saying that he's not in control enough, and that he didn't want to get involved. Which, I mean, and now in his defense, he could get himself killed by dipping into stuff he's not supposed to. But sometimes you got to take those risks because now he's supposed to be like the sheriff in town, helping everybody out. That's the first place you need to go to help those women. The very first place.
Besides the fact, but you know what? To Trig's like role, right? As much as they're trying to make Emmett the moral man center of this episode, of this season, of this series, really now.
Right.
It's Trig. Trig is the one who's trying to be a real father figure to Jake.
Yes.
He's the one, like Tom.
Changed a lot. Yeah.
Right. So he's the one. And but he was like that from day one. You know what I'm saying? He was like, hey, I want you to be in my family. I'm trying to take care of you. He's the one that's giving the sex talk to Jake. He's the one that's telling Jake to stay in school. Like, he is doing much better, right, than Emmett is, who basically told Kevin the way to get over a woman is to get under a woman. Why are you taking advice from a man with 3 baby mamas?
Because Kevin don't know any better.
I'm like, and like, I was
doesn't
like,
know any better.
what is it? Oh my God. Like, I hope.
Brandon wouldn't have told him that.
No.
Brandon wouldn't have said that.
Jake wouldn't have, Trig wouldn't have said that. Trig would have been like, you need to talk to him. I'm like, okay, Trig. He's like, you need to talk to a woman, understand her, spend some time with her. He's like, Jake is like, I don't know, man. These bitches be acting like this. Let's talk about bitches. Okay, so the reason I'm bringing this up is that when, oh my God, Gemma has become, she's for the streets, as they say these days, as I'm understanding. Mm-hmm. She said, I'm not a pass around. Yes, you are.
Well, at the moment, ma'am, that's what's happening. Yes. You've been passed from one best friend to the next. And let me tell you, once Jake gets sick of it or Dakota comes popping back in, Gemma's done. She's out. Okay, so
Gemma started off last season as a beautiful dark-skinned girl with a fro, always about the people. Every time she opened her mouth, it was a Black History moment. Mm-hmm. Like, I took notes. I researched shit. Like, I was like, she's dropping knowledge right now, right? I'm like, she's trying to help Kevin speak better. You know, how to act properly, right? Mm-hmm.
Enunciate his words.
Remember? Yes. It's like, before you even come to me, sir, please know how to enunciate your words, please. And Kevin was like, I'm gonna try to be better. I want to be good for her because she's good, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But she got that thug love now, and she like, Kevin wasn't thug enough. That's what I'm thinking. Right. She thought Kevin was a street boy that she could work with.
Yes.
But he wasn't thug enough. You know what I'm
saying? Bad boy. Unfortunately, young ladies like her, they want the thug. And Jake technically he's not really a thug. He's thuggish, but he's not an actual thug. Like, come on now.
Man, I strongly disagree.
Really? You think that Jake is thug?
Jake was a junior drug dealer. Fact.
That is true. I thought Reg had put a stop to that.
Jake has dealt drugs. Jake stole a gun from Reg.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he got his ass whooped by Reg because he stole it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
He was on a steady path to thugdom. Okay. It's right. This season that they're trying, and that's cool. They're trying to make Jake better, right?
Right.
This season alone, Jake has regularly referred to women as bitches.
Yeah. Well, every time he opens his mouth, he says that.
It's some bitches, right? Yeah. So I was completely surprised that when Trig walked in on Emma, with Gemma on top of Jake.
Yeah.
And then she stands up. Did anyone see what was written on her ass? Look at this. Look at this woman got bitch written across her ass cheek.
Right. Yes.
The woman who was given Black History moments.
Yes.
The woman who was leading by any means necessary group.
Yes.
Made of mostly white people, but that's whatever. She now is with a man who said last week, I don't chase bitches.
Yes. Yes, he did.
And she got that bitch on her ass.
Yes.
Where are we going with this character?
It's good girl gone bad.
Chris said
good girl gone bad.
Chris said Jake makes those good girls go bad because Dakota, I don't know what Dakota was doing, but before she met Jake,
right?
When she got with Jake, though,
good girl gone bad.
She was fucking. Like yes. she was on that bus. Like, let me show you how the hand works. And she pulled up the ass at school.
Yes.
Then she pulled the fire alarm. She helped him pull the fire alarm.
Yes.
Now Gemma giving up the ass, and she got bitch on her.
Yes.
Daddy picks her up from her new man's house and doesn't see the bitch on her ass. Like, she walked out with those jeans.
Yes.
And then she's getting picked up in those jeans.
Yes.
She almost took off those jeans. And that's the whole story.
She was almost there.
She was almost there. But I was like, God damn, the shot. Dude, y'all should be ashamed.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Because my father my father was blind. He still would have seen it. He was like, what are you doing?
He could have felt it. I mean, it's stitched on the jeans. Like, you could have been like, B-I-C-H. Like, you got bitch on your ass. Are those even real? I mean, It's like, is that a real thing? Can you just buy bitch jeans? I don't know.
I've never heard of it.
And then I'm like, she've been wearing those jeans, Dominique. Like that would have made sense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like Dominique could have worn them. What's her name? Tiff could have worn them. Those two, I feel like within their age range, that would have been like acceptable. But Gemma to wear them, especially who Gemma is.
That's what
she's trying to stand up for Black people, for Black women, period. Why would you have that on your behind? Like, it doesn't make, but to me, I think what they're trying to show is that Gemma is going through a rebellious teenage phase.
All right.
That's it.
All right.
She's going through that because that's why she wants the bad boy, which is Jake.
Yes.
And so she's going through her rebellious stage. Her father knows it. He's too wrapped up in doodah because I think he wants to be mayor, right?
Yeah.
Eventually,
yeah.
right?
All right.
So
where's her
we haven't seen her mom.
Where's
we don't. Yeah. Is she dead? Is she? What's going on?
Tell me something. Tell me the woman's dead. I'm like, because Gemma just like she has some man validation issues. Like she's like she needs a man to say she's something because Kevin treats her like shit on a pretty regular basis.
Right.
Which she don't even bring up. Like all the times he pushed her off and ignored her for episode 1 of this season. Kevin chose Jake over his own girl.
Yes.
Which is how he ended up getting his ass whooped, really, in the big scheme of things, right?
Right.
And ironically, his girl chose him over Jake.
Yes.
He's like, what happened? Like, Jake, I chose you, bro. I was like, I chose you.
Yeah.
I still feel Ghost in Tommy at that moment. He's like, you got to choose me. I chose you over Holly. This time, you got to choose me. He's like, nah, I'm not doing that. Ghost was like, I'm not doing that shit. Nah, sorry, bro. Sorry.
Nope.
Bro.
I choose Angie.
I choose Angie.
I choose Angie. Period.
You, bro. Oh, really? But fuck you. But anyway, I don't know. I hope Gemma don't have to go that route. That Jake is like, I'm sorry, I had to kill her, man, for you. It's for us. I was like, oh shit, what happened? I don't know. She was gonna turn on us. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway,
no, I think Jake is just gonna show his true colors because he's gonna want to be back with Kevin, right? Best friends, right?
Okay.
And eventually, because this is what teenagers do.
All right.
So he's gonna eventually choose Kevin over Gemma.
This counseling session should have been focused on the cop incident because that's what started it. It should have been focused on Jake feeling like Kevin wasn't there for him. Jake just stood up for Kevin with the Black kids, right?
Yeah.
But then Kevin didn't return the favor when the cops showed up. Like that should be the conversation. Like, why did you leave me hanging? You know what I'm saying? Right. And then that would have made sense. Mm-hmm. I was just very disappointed. Anyway, Keisha, I want to end with Keisha's wanting her baby back, which you knew that was going to happen.
I knew it, and I would have wanted my baby back too. So I felt for her, but I don't know how it's going to work because I don't know, has the papers been signed already? What is the legalities here? Are you going to have to fight for your child? Because the woman has already taken the child to her home, right? So I think this is going to be a legal battle next season. Don't think it's going to be this season. Hopefully not, because then I'll really be mad. Because it needs to take time. Like adoption and
this is the shy. Let's not put that much faith in these writers.
If Keisha goes to the woman, I can't even remember her name, but she's a lovely actress. Yeah. If she goes to her and says, I really want my baby back. And then the lady's like, okay, I'm going to be mad.
Bet they won't even go that far. Just one day the baby's just going to be with Keisha and that will be it. They're just going to be like, hey mama, I got my son. Okay. And like they will have a dialogue to acknowledge it. You would think that the show would do better, kind of write out, like I said, the whole legal battle, right? Like,
right.
They won't even do it. That's what the Shy does. Like the Shy does not know how to develop a storyline.
That's gonna be because even Nina, when Keisha said it to Nina, as a mother should, she's asking questions.
Yes.
Because you need to understand that if you take this baby, the baby came from a rape. Is there gonna be some type of resentment to that child, right? And then are you ready for the responsibility of taking a child is from the beginning till the end of you. Like when you pass is when you stop taking care of your child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so you have to think about that. Like Nina is a mother until Nina dies. That is something that teenage moms don't think about. When you become someone's mother, it is forever, forever. And you have to take care of this child. And he's a black male. He's a black male. You live in a tough neighborhood. Think about that also. Think about your future. Are you going to go to college? What, are you going to not go to college? Are you going to get a job just to get you by? Or are you going to go, it's so many questions. And I think Nina's doing a good job by asking the questions. But then once Keisha gives her the answers, then Nina needs to be behind Keisha and stand with her and understand that this is what my child wants and I'm going to do everything I can to help her. Right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting again that you bring that up because I was wondering that why Nina wasn't the one to take Kevin to school, since apparently Nina doesn't work. Like why is Dre?
No, remember Nina? No, because you said that before. Nina does work. Last episode or the episode before, she said that she has a lot going on at work. She said that.
All right.
Yeah, but I don't know what she does because no one's ever said what type of job. Because how is it that every morning she's like getting Kevin off to school? It's like most people, when my kids were young, sometimes my kids either left before me or are they left after me.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying the only person who's going to work is Jada. I mean, it's Dre. It's Dre. So I'm like, Dre took off work to help Kevin, but Nina sat home getting drunk.
Yeah.
So I'm like, shouldn't Nina be the one like going with Kevin, or they should be going together to have a united front? Because this is a serious situation Kevin was in.
Yes.
Right. I mean, both parents should have been there to help him. Like get and I know. I mean, sometimes people don't want to bring a biology, but these are Nina's kids.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So she knows like you said, she knows what it means to be a mother, to give birth, right?
Yes.
So she's the one who can talk to, to Keisha to be like, I know what you're going through. I know it's like to have a baby inside me and what that means. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just thought, with Nina, with everything Nina's got going on, even though we don't see her at work and we don't know what you do.
Right.
She would have made an effort to be there with Kevin. Because she was the one that sat down with the notebook to be like, these years are important and that kind of stuff. I just thought it was her. Obviously, Dre's the enforcer, I guess. He's
the dad.
Yeah. So I get it. But I'm like, Nina should have been there. I'm happy Keisha is finally making good man decisions.
That guy seems like he's such a sweet, and I hope they don't mess it up. Yeah. Like I hope they don't all of a sudden say like something's wrong with him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because he seems to be a guy that really genuinely cares for her.
Yes.
Doesn't care about the baby.
Yes.
He knows that she had this experience.
History.
Yeah, and he's being very patient with her.
Yes.
He's trying to make her as comfortable as possible. Which, you know what? There are guys in the world like this. We normally see like jerks on TV, right? There are guys who are really nice and who do want to love a woman for who they are, right? So I'm glad they're showing him. Right.
Yeah, he's a very and again, it wasn't until Chris and I were talking last week. I was like, Keisha has never made a good decision when it came to a man.
No, she hasn't.
3 kids, cheating on her.
Yep.
Then she started fucking the track coach.
Yeah.
Then she was fucking Nuck.
Yep. Which was worse. Yeah.
I mean, it got steadily worse. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. So maybe she can get herself together. She realized what she's doing, some of that destructive behavior. Like that should be discussed in counseling.
Right.
Like why were you making these kind of man decisions? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that? Like, what's going on with you? And that the fact that the mothers didn't even know about Nuck. Really?
Well, remember how she was dressing when we saw her, before the guy snatched her.
Yeah.
What the heck was that outfit?
I'm saying, well, I mean, she was dating an older man. I mean, she was trying. I mean, I see what you mean. I'm saying, but I would say like she's almost 18. I mean, I can understand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, she was trying to compete. As she's not, I'm a mature man. I got to dress sexy. That's not. I mean, I was more concerned about the men, about the choices of men. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. So, like, definitely not a good look. But anyway, so I mean, we're gonna see what's going on with that. I hope Papa Maisha, work it out. Yeah, is the shooter gonna come back? Is Laverne gonna come back? So are they gonna address this at all? Is that truly it? Is
I
that
don't
really it?
know. I don't really want to see Laverne anymore because she has no story. It's kind of like Ronnie didn't have a storyline anymore, so they killed him off.
Yeah.
When his mother died, his storyline was over.
But they did it right. They knew where it was going, right? So
Yeah.
they ended
Yes.
his grandma's story. She had an ending, right? And then, like I said,
Right.
once that's over, then Ronnie had a redemption moment, and then
Right.
had it ended. Like it was planned out. It was like Brandon and Jericho, which is like, oh, you're dead, and you got to go. It wasn't like like Reg, where it's like you're dead, and we got. But even he had more forethought.
Right.
With the fact that they showed him being murdered, that became a thing. Brandon, which is a mid-season, a between season, issue that they just handled badly, and they continue to handle badly, as you can see.
Right.
But anyway, anything else before?
No, that's it. No, we should just hope for the best for next season. I mean, for next episode.
Again, I'm happy. At least Amani still cares about what happened to Trinity, and she finally got Trig given a shit, and like, so they're gonna take down the trap house again because this is the second time they did this.
Yeah.
So
but it's gonna keep popping up. That's the thing. It's they're trying to get it out their neighborhood, and all that's gonna happen is just gonna move to another neighborhood. That's the sad part.
But that's when the community needs to come together.
Right.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like get Tracy involved. Get the men. Get the men involved to be like, this is not okay. It shouldn't just be a woman issue. Like it should be men and women working together, getting the precedent. Like this should be a moment where the community can come together to police itself.
Like Duda said, right?
Yeah.
Duda needs to come. And like when he was talking, remember he was talking to Tracy. Was it last episode? And Tracy was saying to him, did you know about what happened at the trap house? And he kind of was like indignant with her, like, stay in your lane, basically. Like, no, Duda, if you're saying that we need to police ourselves, you need to be the first one saying this trap house needs to go. Period.
He's like, I told you I had a pass. If you can't get with that, you get the fuck on. Like he's like, this ain't my. He's saying this is not my problem anymore.
Supposedly, it is his problem.
Well, it is because it's his city. I mean, either way. I mean, even as a mayor, it's his city. It's his neighborhood, and it was his trap house.
Yes.
So, but like now that he's handed it to Trig. Trig needs to be doing something. Like I mean, it just don't make sense. Like he's done nothing to lead this gang. The 63rd Street Mob is just doing whatever, and we don't know what that even means. But anyway, we'll see all this next episode. Thank you guys for watching. What'd you think of the episode? The thumbnail will be hilarious for this video because I gotta put them jeans out there because it irritated me. Anyway, see you guys next week. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. You can like on the video and comment on the video, share the video. Let us know where you think the season's gonna go. Obviously, what do you think about this whole do the shot thing? Like it went to shit, right? This ain't just us, right? This even Chris was like, this is stupid as fuck, right? Like anyone would have been better. Anyone would have been better. I would have took Marcus. I mean, I would have took Marcus better, like for some reason, like maybe he wanted to be vice mayor and he shot the mayor or something. Just anything. Anyway, guys, see y'all next time.